Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This will be my first ever video. I'm gonna start doing makeup tutorials. So to start off, I wanna go ahead and try to do an eyebrow tutorial and just see how that goes. My eyebrows are pretty simple. As you can see, they're very thin, like I barely have eyebrows really. So I don't really have to do too much to them, and honestly, me doing my eyebrows every day probably takes me like 10-15 minutes tops, but it really doesn't even take me that long, maybe like 5 to 10. I might be tripping. But to do my eyebrows, I used a eyebrow pomade gel. Here is the gel. I actually got that from a beauty supply store, and it's I just have the color espresso brown. Let's just get into it. Okay, so starting off with a spoolie, I'm going to just go ahead and kind of spoolie out the hairs, making sure they're pretty straightened out. And like I said, I already don't have eyebrows, so as you can see, I don't cut my eyebrows in any way, in any shape, just because I'm kind of scared to, and I feel like going to somebody to do that is, for my little eyebrows, is a waste of money. So I kind of just shape them the way I need to. So these extra little hairs, like I basically brush them all out, and as you can see, it's very, very sparse. Very, very long and just uneven. However, I don't like my eyebrows to be super, super thick. So I just take them and just shape them like that to start off. And you'll see me do this exact same technique again. This is basically just to separate the hairs so that way they're not all on top of each other. So when I put the pomade on, it goes on smoothly. So using a flattened brush, as you can see, I'll take dip it in the pomade, and then me personally, I start way away from where my eyebrow actually starts. So as you can see, my eyebrow kind of starts right here. So I'll take it over here, and I do that to help with the gradient effect of my eyebrows when I add the concealer. So basically, I add just a straight line the way that I want my eyebrow to go. Then when it starts winging, I just kind of follow down my natural wing like that. Again, adding a little bit extra so that way once I add the concealer, I can perfect that. And here at the top, I draw a line actually starting where my eyebrow does a little bit. And then I just make the curve kind of natural to what my natural curve is. When filling in my tail of my eyebrow, I just go straight down. And then once I start filling in the rest of my eyebrow, I kind of take the flat brush, sort of like this, in this motion, and kind of streak it up. Like so. And I also do that up to here. So as you can see, right in this area, since I have a harsh line here where I shaved my eyebrow, but no harsh line here, it kind of already is starting the kind of gradient effect in my eyebrow that I wanted. And then if there are any gaps, I go back and fill them in. So sometimes there are gaps in how I want the shape of my eyebrow to go. And we're gonna do that on the other side. Again, eyebrows are sisters, not twins. So when doing my eyebrows, I always try to keep that in mind. So as you can see, the shape of my eyebrows is kind of here. They look pretty uneven, especially starting right here. But this is all a work in progress. So as you can see, my eyebrows look kind of dark in some spots and light in others. So I'm gonna go back in with my spoolie and just lightly comb out, brush out some of the pigmentation that's here. So that way my eyebrows aren't as harsh and dark. And then again, I'm gonna go back with that same sweeping motion and sweep a shape. We're gonna do it the other side. This side always comes out so much better, and I think it's because I have a lot more hair at the top of this to grab on a little bit more than the other side. But it always turns out so much better when I do this step. So sometimes my eyebrows don't come out exactly how I want them to when doing this step. Like this one, I feel like, I don't know if you can see really on the camera, but this one, I kind of feel like some parts need a little bit more sprucing. So I just go back and fill it in again. And then just redo this step. Just try to sparse it out a little bit. more, especially the tips, because you don't want your tip to be super dark when the rest of your eyebrow is one shade of darkness. All right, so that's a pretty rough sketch. So for eyebrows, now I am not a full face type of person. As you can see, I have freckles. So normally when I do my makeup, I don't do my full face because I love my natural freckles showing. I know a lot of people don't have freckles, so I love that part of myself and I always want that to show. So me doing a full face normally isn't a normal thing. So because of that, I normally don't use a concealer that is lighter than my skin tone. I actually use a foundation instead. I have been using Fit Me foundations actually, and really which one I decide to use depends on the day. So I have two different ones. This one was a gift, so it's just a light skin color one. It's not really my color, but it's the Dewy and Smooth one. It kind of goes on exactly how it says, Dewy and Smooth. Sometimes I use it, it goes on really nicely, but like I said, this is the classic beige color, which is color 245, and that is a little bit lighter than what I'm used to. But normally I love this one. This one matches perfectly to my skin. It's Fit Me foundation. It's matte and poreless. I love this one because my skin is oily, and it's in the color Warm Honey Miel Dough, and that's shade 322. So today for this tutorial, just for those people who do like doing it a little bit lighter, I'm gonna use the 245. And I'm gonna use another flat brush, but don't judge, but it's broken. That's how much I've used it, but it's my favorite flat brush to use for my eyebrows because I just have the most control, and it actually is pretty thick too, so I can use it for different techniques, but we're gonna see now. So basically I just dip a little bit, well I don't dip, but I kind of just pour a little bit to where I can get a little bit out of this. And just put a little bit onto the brush. So as you can see, there's really not that much concealer on the brush as of right now. And the first step to what I'm doing is I'm going to shape the bottom line of my eyebrow. And then the next step after that, as you can see, I've added it. After that, I flip to the other side for more control, and I kind of just draw a straight line that matches where I want that tail to go. So not necessarily straight, it just depends. Sometimes it comes out straight, sometimes it's a pretty curve like such. And I just let that do what it do. And this is where the thickness of the flat brush kind of comes into play. So I'll get a little bit more on my brush, and I literally just use it just like this. And I start way over just to see where it'll start. I'm sorry, y'all can't see. I start way over here, and then I kind of just let the line guide itself and then match it where I started. So as you can see, there's a little discrepancy. So right there in that discrepancy, that's where I kind of make the hook and just let it fall where it may. All right, so here is one eyebrow kind of done. As you can see, I have this harshish looking line. So from that line, I do it very carefully, but I try to start and pull up the foundation. And this also happens on the bottom sometimes as well. If you put too much foundation on there, don't fret, you can just literally drag it up like this, and we're gonna blend that out anyway, so it's not even a concern. I'm gonna do the same thing to my other brow. Like I said, your eyebrows are sisters, not friends. So this, where I decided to make this tail is a little bit more straight than the other one. I said sisters, not friends. I meant sisters, not twins. Goodness. Goodness. They're definitely friends, girl, on your face. All right. So here is my look. Like I said, I'm going to bring some of this foundation down. All right, so like I said, as you can see, my eyebrows are coming in. They're pretty uneven right here. So here's a technique that I just do myself. I've never seen anybody else do it like this before, but I kind of just taught myself how to do my eyebrows. So this is really just something that I do. But since we're gonna buff out all of this, might as well buff out the middle as well. So there's nothing there. I'm gonna just add a stripe of foundation right there as well. And I kind of do it on both sides to where it kind of makes your eyebrows look like they're in their own little box, like where I should have started my eyebrows, right? So from there, I drag the eyebrow gel out into that middle line that I just made on both sides. All right, and then from dragging it out, then now you see here, the foundation that I put there is just all mixed in. So now I'm gonna just lightly drag some of that into the eyebrow and just go back and forth, switching directions depending on what I want my eyebrow to end up really looking like. So here is what my eyebrows currently look like. Now I'm gonna take my beauty blender. It's extremely dirty, forgive me. I'm gonna take my beauty blender with a point. I think it's easier, the ones that look like this, to go in your eye. And actually I'm gonna take this beauty blender first. Same thing, it's a little different shaped. And I'm gonna just take it and go straight down the middle. And as you can see, that kind of wiped out a lot of the excess. And I'm gonna take this one with more precision and just wipe around where that foundation kind of is in your face. Now, as you can see, you still have a little foundation like around the edges, kind of sort of your eyebrows. So I take the bottom and then I just tap it right on the eyebrow and buff it out. And finishing touches, I just kind of continue to add that blending effect if I'm not really happy with it. And like I said, the foundation I decided to use today was the Fit Me 245, which is a little bit lighter than my normal shade. So I kind of, if I don't end up liking the way that the shade is, personally, like right now I'm just using my fingers to kind of blend that out to make it look like my natural color, which really it did a good job. If not, or you happen to just not have foundation that's your color and you want to use concealer instead, I also think that using a Q-tip with some makeup remover literally will do the trick for you. You can either use it, you can use the Q-tip to like help buff it out, or you can use makeup remover to make it look different. But this is literally how I do my eyebrows. Of course, this is a tutorial, so it took me a lot longer than what it normally does, but literally once you get the hang of it, knocking this out takes like 5 to 10 minutes on a daily, and I think they look really good, especially for the fact that I started out with like barely any eyebrows. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and this is the finished look on how I decided to do my eyebrows.